A couple of things I forgot to tell you. Um, when I had bought the boat, I told you how everything was perfect. He did tell me about the 4 batteries that Peter was fiddle farting around with all week. He said that they were brand new batteries. And he said it a few times. He said they got 4 brand new batteries. So I couldn't figure out why they wouldn't be working, except they were dead. And apparently, right on the batteries, it said they were 2 years old. So they were 2 years old. They weren't brand new, and they had, been dead long enough that they wouldn't hold the charge. And Peter never did go out and get 4 new batteries. He had me do it. We were getting ready to launch the boat, and he's still farting around with the batteries. And he goes, "Oh, well, would you run to Walmart?" I don't even know where Walmart is in Fort Pierce. And why don't you get the 4 batteries while I can get finished up here and we can get this in the water. Well, at that point, I was like, whatever. And I just went and got them. And yeah, they were $500 for 4 batteries. Well, Peter didn't want to spend the money that I'd given him towards anything, is what it came down to. And my kids were going crazy. They thought I was crazy. They said, "Mom, you should not have given Peter all that money." And my daughter even called Peter because on the painting of the bottom, which was $2,600 for the copper coat, she goes, "Where's your receipt?" I said, "He didn't give me a receipt. He's doing it, and I gave him the money." So she was livid, like she was ready to send me to the funny farm. And she called him up, and she says, "Did my mom get a receipt?" Because I gave him cash. And so he sent me a receipt. And he sent me a receipt on all the various things that he did, supposedly. See, the thing with these mechanics and like Peter, when they do the work, outside of the bottom paint, which he gave me a price on, everything else is by the hour. Peter charged $60 an hour, and the mechanic was $127 an hour. So that's why I was so upset when Peter kept saying he was doing the work, and he wasn't working. And he told me, he says, "Well, I got all these hours logged in, I've been working." And I'm like, "On what?" And the same thing when he was doing the water impeller. That took 3 days. I told the mechanic, I said, "I'm not paying Peter to work 3 days on a water impeller that takes 3 hours." And the second time I told him, he says, "I'm not going to charge you. I'm only going to charge you what everybody else I called around said was $350, and that included the labor." He says, "I won't charge you more than $350. I says, "Well, okay, because I'm not paying for 3 days of labor of him farting around with something." So I'm all settled on the causeway. I got them anchored out, and I went to go take the boat out for the first time. I went by myself. I didn't want the grandkids with me or anything for the first time. I said, "Well, I'll just take it for a ride down the road," I was going to say, but down by the causeway, and turn around and come back. And he started right up. I got the anchor up, and I got out of here where it's a no-wake zone, and I start going faster, and the boat starts farting and backfiring and making all kinds of noises. So I slowed it back down, purred like a kitten, 5 miles an hour, just purred like a kitten. Since I pushed that throttle, there it goes again, choking, farting, making all kinds of noise, backfiring. I said, "Okay, I guess you don't want to go that fast," which was like, 10 miles an hour. So I slowed it back down to 5 miles an hour. So I took my first trip at 5 miles an hour, and I went down and back, and it ran fine. As long as I stayed at that speed, it purred like a kitten. So then I came back here and anchored out. And when I did take the grandkids, it did the same thing. 5 miles an hour runs good. I even got it up to 7 one day before it starts sparking and choking out and backfiring. So to me it sounded a lot, you know, if it was a car, it needed a tune-up, you know. So I knew I needed to do it, but I'd already spent that load, so we just chugged along at 5 miles an hour. You see, when I sold the condominium, bought the boat, I immediately put $10,000 away for future maintenance on the boat. You know, so that there's always something on a boat, you know, and you gotta maintain it and do certain things. So I put $10,000 away for that purpose to start with, never knowing, never expecting that $10,000 would be gone before the boat ever met the water. I'm anchored out here at the causeway. So, I'll take the grandkids, we come on a weekend, and we'd go for a boat ride down by the inlet. There's an island there where the water is just pure, clean, crystal clean water. You can see right down to the bottom. And we'd go fishing out there and swimming, and the water was much cooler than here in the lagoon where I'm at, and cooler and clearer. And I had filled up the water tank. I had the marina fill it up before I put the boat in, and nothing was coming out. So I tried the faucets, you know, and a couple drips came out. No water came out, and I couldn't figure out what the heck's going on. Is there something else I got to turn on to get the water come out? And I noticed that the shower head wasn't even hooked up to wasn't even hooked up with a hose. So I'm like, oh, Peter didn't spot that, I guess. So I had to go out and get a hose to hook up the shower, and I tried that. A few drips came out, and nothing. I'm like, what the heck? I know they filled that tank up with water. All of a sudden, the cabin floor is soaking wet. Soaking wet. Cabin floor is just squishing in my toes. And I'm like, must be a hole in the water tank. All the water in the tank's in the bottom of my boat. So, of course, the bills ran, trying to get rid of that. So I had no water. I knew there was a saltwater tank, but I didn't know how to turn it on, or where it was, or how to do it. So, we got rid of the water in the boat from the from the tank. I thought it was a tank at all. And my brother came one weekend. He lives down the Keys. Him and his wife came. And he says, he looked in the aft cab and he goes, well, you got a tank here and it's empty. Where's your water tank? I said, well, the fresh water's on the other side. That's under the dinette set. I said, maybe that's the saltwater tank. So he went down in the bilge and he found one of those seacock things that you open up, you know, and he opened it up and you could hear the salt water going in the tank. He goes, there you are, there's your salt water. I'm like, great. It's better than no water. I'll have salt water. So I was really happy that I got salt water, some kind of water. So, again, we went to try it out, and there's no water. Nothing's coming out. My granddaughter was here. She was going to take a shower. She said, I don't care, salt water. I want to just go get wet. So she tried it out, and she got all soaked up, and the water just cut off on her. You know, it was like, you know, with 2 minutes of water she got. The water cut off on her. Sure enough, found the boat. Spilled the water again, squishing in my toes. I'm like, it's not possible. There's 2 busted water tanks. There must be a leak in the pipe somewhere. So here we are, no water. I look under the kitchen sink and it's soaking wet. Well, that's because the piece that goes in the sink, you know, that connects to the pipe isn't even sealed. It's like a wide open space, so if you did pour water down there, it'd only go to the bottom of the floor, you know, so I knew that needed to be fixed. So I'm like, this guy said everything works perfectly. I mean, he must have told me 50 times that everything on this boat worked perfectly. Okay, well, I already don't have salt water or water. The windlass didn't work, and now it's got an anchor with a knot on it. And when we test drove it, the navigation lights didn't come on. And I'm looking at Peter going, and you check this boat out, right? You know, you were supposed to do that. And he goes, oh, there's so many hours in a day, like I was rushing him. He had my boat captive for 2 months. I rushed him. 2 months he held my boat captive. Okay, so here I am, no water. The sink leaks, the pipes leak. There's a knot on my anchor. My brother, when he came, because I was dragging, we'd get a high wind and my boat's dragging, you know? And it was scary because, you know, there's a big pile of rocks behind me. And I was afraid the boat would drag during these windstorms into the rocks. So my brother went out and got the right tackle for it. He got me a 6-foot chain because he didn't think I'd be able to pull up, you know, a 12-foot chain with the anchor on. It's only a 22-pound anchor, but with the chain it adds weight. And he got the right tackle and he spliced the rope together, you know, like it's supposed to be, you know, what Peter should have done but didn't do. And so my brother fixed the anchor and it's been holding really good. And I still wish I had the windlass working, you know, because when it's a windy day, it's hard for me to pull up the anchor. I have the grandkids do it and they come, they do it, but you know, I can move forward with the engine a little bit to help them, you know, to where they don't have to pull so hard. Oh, so I'm gonna stop here. You got the gist of my beginning. There's a lot more to come. This is really gets more interesting, way more interesting than what you've heard so far. All right, I'm gonna go and say good night. It's a beautiful night out, the clouds. You didn't see the moon, it's up there. This here little thing is attached to my temporary anchor light because my batteries are dead. No, you don't know. You have no idea. But you will. You will. So I hope you stay with me and see some of my adventures. You got the beginning of it, the gist of it, but it gets way better. Trust me. All right, now you all have a great night. Bye.